DME 14 DME from the DRO VOR is the distance for this arc. Final approach course 027, about 20 more degrees, 25. Altitude. Initial fix, Hindi. Procedure turn at 9,300. Airspeed's getting low. DME 14.4, target is 14. Altitude, gain 200 feet, airspeed, increase. Final approach fix in 17 degrees. Bump the throttle. Reset it. Still need to gain 200 feet. Airspeed okay. Trim up. Final approach fix, Jubeb, DME 7.6, altitude 8,800. DME 1.9, visual descent point, ILS, decision altitude 6,843. Local barometric pressure 30.00. Final approach course in 7 degrees clockwise. DME 14.1, which is closer to what it's supposed to be. Altitude 200 feet low. Altitude 9,800 and 10,000. Little throttle. Final approach fix, Jubeb, DME 7.6, altitude 8,800. Visual descent point, DME 1.9. Decision altitude for ILS runway 3, 6,843. Wow, when you fly perpendicular to a VOR radial, you really see how the course line is accurate, because whether or not I'm tuned to the outbound radial or the inbound radial, the course line is in front of me. If it is to the west of me and I am to the east of it. So I didn't necessarily have to fly this DME arc with the radial pointing outbound. I could have flown the DME arc with the radial pointing inbound, and the course line would still be in front of me. That's peculiar. I will remember that, because in the future I won't have to wait to turn the OBS knob full 180 degrees when I reach my final approach course. I will just, as I advance the CDI 10 degrees for every step of the DME arc, it will eventually fall upon a 2 setting for the 2 radial to the VOR, and I won't need to twist the OBS knob 180 degrees. Here we are on the final approach course. Descend to 8,800 in about 7 miles. For a precision approach, descent rate is 500 to 400 feet per second with an RPM setting of 1800 to 1900. In the sim here, I actually have it a little higher, at around 2050 RPM. And my vertical descent rate is actually half about what it needs to be, so I'll just change the RPM to 1950. Now my descent rate is up to 700 feet per second down. A little too fast, airspeed's okay. On final approach course. V-lock is the setting on the GNS 430. Nav1 CDI setting is to V-lock. Localizer, vertical localizer. Descent rate, current altitude, approaching 9,200, 8,800 in. I want to change this. My GPS isn't set up correctly. Runway 3 in 9 miles. DME 6.6 for the final approach fix. DME from the VOR 7.6 for the final approach fix. Continue. Altitude now 8,970. Final approach fix in 2 miles. Descend to 8,800. Current altitude 8,820. Level off. There is a minimum line there. Level off at 8,800. Now airspeed's low. 1 more mile. Hold altitude. First increment of flaps. Airspeed's within the wide arc. Airspeed 74, 75. Maintain altitude for another hour up. Pitch up. Maintain altitude. Watch your course. Airspeed okay. 0.3 miles to final approach fix. Altitude is 100 feet low. Terminal phase. Final approach fix reached. Jubeb. Next waypoint Wabkey. DME 3.3. Altitude 7,400. Final decision altitude 6,843. Next waypoint Wabkey. Altitude 7,400. Reestablish descent rate. Airspeed good, course good. Zoom in on the GPS. Check heading. Descent rate's high. 1,000 more feet in 3 miles. Airspeed good. Turn coordinator good. Gauge is green. Left tank selected. Right tank and left tank equal. Descent rate. Power setting 1900 RPM. Descent rate's increasing. Increase power to 2050 RPM. Visual on the ground. In 1.7 miles, waypoint Wabkey. Altitude 7,400, that's 400 feet lower than now. On course, right to line up. Altitude 7,7. Airspeed 80 knots. Descent rate 500 feet per minute. Come heading, shift heading left. Press 1.
Kilo Delta Romeo Oscar traffic. Piper Sierra India, Mike Papa Lima Alpha November Echo, for miles southwest, 7600, inbound to land, runway tree, Kilo Delta Romeo Oscar traffic.
Decision altitude 6,843, about 600 feet. Durango, traffic warrior, sim plane, 3 mile, final runway 03, full stop, Durango. Visual on terrain. Airspeed okay. 7,100 feet. DME 1.9 visual descent point. That's in 1/2 mile. Runway in sight, lining up. Passy lights in sight. On glide slope. Come left. Airspeed 7.4. Second flaps. On glide slope. Airspeed 70. Touchdown speed 65. 65, 66 established. Power. On glide slope, Vassy looks good, power. Crossing the aim point, throttle to idle, round out. Hold, pull as you sink, throttle idle, pull as you sink. Add a little power. Pull as you sink. Power idle. Let it settle. Flaps up to increase tire pressure for stopping. Aileron neutral. Elevator back for aerodynamic braking. Fuel pump off. Exit on Alpha 3 next left. Clear left. Durango traffic warrior sim plane is clear of the active on Alpha 3, taxiing to general aviation parking via Alpha Durango. Avionics off. Lights off. Throttle idle. Mixture idle. Cut off. Keys ignition off. Key removed. Battery alternator switch off.